Good morning and welcome. This is Business Equity and Opportunities. I'm Scott Sander. This is a big week for Indiana businesses to shine in a national spotlight, bringing tens of thousands of people downtown. A couple of big events. Circle City Classic kicks off a week-long celebration tonight with the Miss Circle City Classic coronation. Events and activities throughout the week all build up to a huge Saturday packed with music, the parade, and football at Lucas Oil Stadium. The week also sees the 2025 Rally Innovation Conference in full swing, Wednesday and Thursday, bringing in big names and big opportunities for small businesses and entrepreneurs. Our Business Equity and Opportunities team will be at both events, gathering conversations, tips, resources to share with you over the next couple of weeks. All part of our mission to provide you with information and insights through our 7 unique segments designed to help you start and grow your own business. We're here every Sunday on Wish TV, live streaming same time at wishtv.com. You can also access all of our content and share it on demand anytime at BEOshow.com. Also check out our library of more than 160 shows now on the BE&O YouTube channel. Subscribe to see them and then the new ones that hit each week. Follow our QR code and visit our website for updates, resources, brand new segments too, and sign up for our new newsletter to stay connected with us. Coming up this week on Business Equity and Opportunities, Courtney Kincaid with financial strategies for the fourth quarter, why it matters.
As we head into this optimistic season for our small business owners, it's a really great time to say, okay, what's happening and how might it look next year?
Team building with citizen specialists and scientists at Holiday Park.
So phenology is probably a word you're not familiar with, but you see it all the time.
The author of Micro Pivots shares a very personal story.
The book is based on one fundamental philosophy that leadership is often about influence.
What the Circle City Classic is doing to help with career development. Plus, Jane King has the latest news from the NASDAQ. This week, we welcome the Indy Chamber for the first of 6 special segments showcasing the Chamber's services and small business success stories.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. Getting started.
I'm ZeNai Savage. I'm the Chief Finance and Admin Officer at the Indy Chamber, where we are downtown in the Salesforce Tower on the 22nd floor. I'm also over our Business Services division, which is what we're here to talk about today. So at the Indy Chamber, we're home to the Business Opportunity Initiative, which is a CDFI, which is a community development financial institution, where we provide access to capital for small and mid-sized businesses. Businesses that are typically considered unbankable by traditional lending institutions, could be based on demographic, credit score, history of business, any reason that they may not be able to get a loan from a traditional bank. They can go to a CDFI. The Chamber is a complicated organization. We are a membership organization. We have a foundation, we have a PAC, and we also have the CDFI. And we're excited that we have the CDFI, especially in times like this where a lot of organizations and entities are rolling back a little bit from their small business support, especially for underrepresented communities, underserved populations, those that don't traditionally have access to capital. So we're actually leaning into that work. The mission of the Indy Chamber is to accelerate the Indy economy for all, and that includes ensuring that all of our members, all of our businesses in the region have access to thrive and grow their businesses. Yeah, we're really excited that we have a host of business services that we can provide to members. In addition to our lending, we also house the Hispanic Business Council, a Women's Business Center, BEI for Black businesses, and a Ready Reentry program for justice-involved individuals. So all of these programs, in collaboration with our lending, our membership services, really lean into the Chamber's inclusive approach to economic growth and development. We're excited to partner with other banking institutions. We are part of the CDFI collaborative with other CDFIs across the region. We have a number of nonprofits like the Urban League and the Indy Black Chamber, and even corporate partners who allow us to really serve our businesses. So I would consider the Indy Chamber the first stop. And if we don't always have the answer, we have a network of organizations who can provide additional services to make sure that we can meet a small business needs. In addition to our programs that I mentioned for the different demographics and our lending, we also have legal office hours and coaching and master classes, all of these wraparound services to support businesses. So over the next couple of months, we're proud to partner with the BE&O show to really highlight some businesses and the success stories of those that we are able to partner with. I'm proud to be able to do this work at the Indy Chamber. It really aligns all the things that I've cared about in my community. As a CPA and somebody who practices, I've worked alongside small businesses who have trouble growing and scaling their business because they just don't have access to the capital. So being able to work at an institution, have all the partners that we have around the community to help make sure that small businesses, entrepreneurs can succeed is really like core to my personal mission statement.
If you'd like more information about the Indy Chamber, follow the QR code on your screen now. It'll get to our website. We'll talk with some of the small businesses that are Indy Chamber members ahead in the next few weeks of this show. Up next this hour, Jane King has an update on the Federal Reserve interest rate moves and shares news about publicly traded Indiana businesses that might affect yours. And coming up later,
so within the United States, we see certain pockets that have maybe a higher population of one demographic, but then we have areas like Indiana where we do have a high Mexican American population, but we also have people from many parts of Latin America here.
welcome again. This is Business Equity and Opportunities from the New York Stock Exchange. Jane King has the latest news impacting Indiana companies.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. Access to capital.
The Federal Reserve did as expected and cut interest rates. Now, the expected cut has been driving the stock market higher in recent weeks. The cut in short-term rates will lower loans on things like credit cards and car loans. The longer-term mortgage rates have been trending lower lately as well. Well, for the first time in over a decade, Indiana University Northwest has experienced a substantial increase in its enrollment numbers. The campus's headcount is up 7.2% year over year, reaching 3,260 students this fall. From 2023 to 24, enrollment at IU Northwest remains stable with over 3,000 students. The positive trends at IU Northwest are in line with trends across the entire Indiana University system. IU saw a record 25,300 new undergraduate and graduate students enroll this fall. IU Online surpassed 10,000 enrolled students for the first time. Well, meanwhile, Indiana University, the country's worst public university for free speech, while Purdue is the best. That's according to a recent study by a First Amendment advocacy group. The 2026 College Free Speech Rankings were released by the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression. IU Bloomington was ranked the third worst college in the U.S. for free speech protections. Purdue was second overall. The only two higher education institutions that were lower than IU were Columbia University and Barnard, both of which are private. The only university higher than Purdue is Claremont McKenna, also a private institution. Well, harvest is underway in Indiana. The recent World Agriculture Supply and Demand report shows record corn production in the U.S. this year. The soybean crop is also among the largest ever. Grain prices rallied even on a bigger harvest, as some think dry weather in August will eventually bring the crop lower. In the meantime, Indianapolis-based seed and pesticide maker Corteva is considering breaking up. The Wall Street Journal reports the company, once part of DowDuPont, could finalize a plan soon. Its share price has climbed nearly 150%, including more than 25% just this year. Corteva's signature seed brand, Pioneer, is one of the most recognizable names to Indiana farmers. And Amazon is testing General Motors' BrightDrop electric van as part of its effort to reduce carbon emissions of its deliveries. An Amazon spokesperson says the company is committed to having 100,000 electric delivery vehicles on the road by 2030 and regularly test various vehicle options, including a small number of the BrightDrops. The Pilot is only about 12 vehicles, but it is among a fleet of vans that also includes Ford, Mercedes-Benz, and Stellantis, as well as Rivian. Finally, a lakefront estate, long owned by the late Indianapolis Colts owner Jim Irsay, is hitting the market for about $20 million. The roughly 35,000 square foot estate with a private dock sits on the shores of Lake Maxinkuckee in Culver. The property includes an upscale European-inspired main residence and a separate entertainment complex with a 4-lane bowling alley, a shooting range, an arcade, and a bar. From the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Jane King.
If you want to keep track of how publicly traded Indiana companies are doing, you can find real-time stock information now on our Business Equity and Opportunity stock ticker. Look for it at the top of our website landing page, right there. Follow the QR code to get to our site. Coming up, Alice Watson gives us a look at this week's Circle City Classic events. And coming up later,
Phenology is probably a word you're not familiar with, but you see it all the time. It is seasonal changes in plants and animals. It's their life cycle events, and you hear it, you see it, you smell it, you taste it.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
welcome again. The Circle City Classic is celebrating its 41st year in Indianapolis. Highlights include a powerhouse football matchup, the Morgan State Magnificent Marching Machine halftime show, plus more music, a gala, a Super Bowl champion who will get a special award, and more. Alice Watson is the president of Indiana Black Expo and has all the details.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. This Week in Business.
Yes, we are, we're kicking down. We will start this actually on Wednesday with our prayer and praise service at the New Direction Church. It will be kind of an opening for them, a soft launch, if you will, with Pastor Sullivan. And we will also have Pastor Janae Pittman, who Light of the World was their original home at New Direction. So it's kind of a homecoming for them. So just really excited that we can partner with both of those churches to kick off a Circle City Classic. So excited about that launch for Classic. And then, of course, we start everything else that is Circle City Classic. We will do the Coaches Luncheon on Friday at Lucas Oil Stadium, which is where we've returned back home since COVID, if you will. So Coaches Luncheon will be at Lucas Oil Stadium at the Horseshoe. Tables are still available, so please, everyone, come out and let's honor these two great HBCU schools who will be coming to Indianapolis. Mouse College, this will be the first time for them. So I'd love to have as many folks as possible to come out and welcome the coaches as we highlight them. And we will be celebrating our own Antoine Bethea will be coming back. Of course, as you know, former NFL player and an Indianapolis Colts player. So we'll be honoring him with the Major Taylor Award at the Coaches Luncheon. And then we do something that we started a couple of years ago, and it's just been a huge success for us, which is our Talent Day career fair, which will have 15 to 20 companies who will be able to engage with 120 student athletes between Mouse College and Morgan State University. And of course, we expect a lot of young professionals who will attend, who are looking for, again, career pathways, career opportunities. So that is presented by Lily, and they will be in the room also, really looking for young talent, if you will. So it's going to be a great Friday evening. And then we land after that with the pep rally. So everything is happening at Lucas Oil Stadium, the Coaches Luncheon, the Talent Day career fair, and then you'll get to see those two universities, their bands at the pep rally. Both of them have huge accolades. Mal College is the #1 HBCU band in Division II, so they will come out with all the pageantry. And then Morgan State they just performed in Paris. So really cool stories to tell about those universities. So everyone come out for the pep rally. It's free. It's at Lucas Oil Stadium out on South Street. So that will be the kickoff to the weekend. Well, I think especially for the young professionals, right? And even for the employers who participate. And again, we've got a few spots for any other companies who are interested. It's $500 to exhibit, $5,000 if you want to sponsor that event. But you know, the job market is very interesting right now, especially for our young folks who are recently graduates or even young professionals who are looking for career changes. And it's really tough for exhibitors or employers to really find that type of talent. And so, I think that, you know, we were first approached about this initiative some 3 years ago. We partner also with NO Power with Emil, who helps us on the recruitment side, but really looking for a very diverse talent pool. And we thought, what a great opportunity for us as Indiana Black Expo with our Circle City Classic, that we can present to our partner employers and you know, some of our sponsors, this talent that comes in for one day, and we can do it in masses, right? I mean, again, where can you find 120 great student athletes who are interested in the next step? Not necessarily sports, but whatever that might look like. So we thought this was just a great opportunity also for our other companies, right? To be able to tap into a talent pool that they might not otherwise have. And for the student athletes, the concept was, again, we had this tagline where future meets fortune. A lot of our companies are actually based in some of their hometowns where they have a regional presence. So again, we just thought this was really great opportunity for us to collaborate and partner with our employers. We know that it's been very successful, and particularly for JD Finish Line, who's talked about it. It's like, hey, we've got a presence in a lot of these states, and they've had some success with the recruitment. Teach for America is another one of our partners, looking for that talent pool on the educator side, and they've had some success. So it's been really, really very fruitful for those who have participated. It's very interesting because we had one school last year. Usually we highlight and honor the student athletes at the coaches luncheon. And they said, we want our kids to spend more time at the talent day. You know, I mean, when you have like student athletes, it's like, they're not really concerned about the programming side. They want to get at it. So we actually, this year, we're actually having the student athletes skip the coaches luncheon. We'll, of course, continue to highlight the coaches and the presidents, but let those kids spend more time in Talent Day. Yes. And don't forget, there is a game on Saturday and a parade where we have over 50,000 attendees. And this one is bigger than the previous years. So come out, bring your chairs out, and help us to celebrate as we go into the game at 3 o'clock on Saturday.
Our Business Equity and Opportunities team will be at the Circle City Classic Entrepreneur Day Saturday, collecting conversations with startups, small businesses, and key representatives from organizations that offer development resources and opportunities to support everybody. We'll be sharing those in the weeks to come. We're also the local media partner for this year's Rally Innovation Conference. If you're attending, please stop by our studio located in the Media Village. We'd certainly love to meet you in person. Coming up this hour, Courtney Kincaid continues her look at the fourth quarter. This time, frankly, she's not so optimistic. Stick around, we'll explain why. And coming up later...
So phenology is probably a word you're not familiar with, but you see it all the time. It is seasonal changes in plants and animals. It's their life cycle events, and you hear it, you see it, you smell it, you taste it. So as you walk around in the fall, you hear those leaves crunching. You can see it right now in those colors changing on the trees and the flowers blooming, birds in the spring, all those sorts of seasonal things, events. That's what we mean when we talk about phenology. And we are tracking phenology because it really is that first place where the effects of climate change show up. The timing of these events that are so keyed to the specific conditions in the environment around them, that when that climate changes, you see it first in changing timing of these seasonal events.
This Week in Business is made possible by Indy Biz Pass.
The 41st annual Circle City Classic HBCU football game. It's a celebration. Get your day started at 10 a.m. with the Circle City Classic Parade. This year's Grand Marshal is actor and R&B sensation Roll Timmy, followed by the tailgate party on South Street at 3 p.m. The 41st annual Circle City Classic football game inside of Lucas Oil Stadium kicks off with the Golden Bears of Miles College versus the Bears of Morgan State University. And at halftime, the Battle of the Band. Go to CircleCityClassic.com or the Lucas Oil Stadium box office. It's going to be a vibe because it's more than just a game.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Welcome again. The fourth quarter is nearly here. Overall, sales have been up. Hiring's still been a challenge for many, though, and financial strategy always matters. Courtney Kincaid is here with a to-do list.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities, Accounting and Bookkeeping.
We previously talked about some of the optimistic attitudes as it relates to the economy in the fourth quarter. Unfortunately, it's not all good news. You might not be surprised to hear there is a lot of angst and uncertainty as it comes to hiring and retaining staff. And I know I'm here representing CPAs in the Indiana CPA Society, and we often get the question, why is that something that you would talk about, or why is that something that my CPA is concerned about? But we think CPAs, and we know our members, do a really good job of helping their clients understand cyclical business, but also understanding and better actualizing how you might outsource some staff, how you might think about building certain cost models that would allow for full-time staff to be added. And these decisions, right, are a growth strategy. And so it really is a holistic look at your business as that trusted business advisor role. And so some things you can do in the fourth quarter with your certified public accountant would be evaluate the ROI of your current staff. Are there areas where you may need to make sure that you're retaining that staff? You know, as we hear anecdotally, but it's also borne out in fact, it's more expensive to hire new staff than to do the work to retain current staff. It's a lot of knowledge that walks out the door, and with this increased competition, it's going to be even more important. We also need to be updating business plans. If you're looking for growth, is your staffing aligned with your areas of growth? This is a really great time to do that. And you can do that, you know, with the optimistic mindset that we talked about previously of where are your growth areas and do you have staff allocated to those growth areas? And finally, your cash flow. As we go through seasonal work or seasonal ups and downs, you know, how do you balance your cash flow? Thinking about it also as often your largest line item is salary to your team. And so those are really great opportunities to sit down in the fourth quarter, talk to your CPA about doing some business planning that will help you make sure that you are riding the, you know, this turbulent time in the safest boat possible.
Courtney will be back in a couple of weeks talking smarter systems for stronger sales. You won't want to miss that one. Coming up this hour, though, a visit to Holiday Park for a deep dive into phenology. Yes, we'll tell you what it is and why it matters.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Indiana Phenology is a nonprofit that documents the impact of environmental changes on our ecosystems. Amanda Wanlast invited us to Holiday Park for a lesson on why we need to pay attention.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Running your business day to day.
I am Amanda Wanlast. I am the Executive Director of Indiana Phenology, and we are here at Holiday Park. So here at Holiday Park, we have a phenology trail. So we are documenting the timing of seasonal changes in the plants here around the park. So phenology is probably a word you're not familiar with, but you see it all the time. It is seasonal changes in plants and animals. It's their life cycle events, and you hear it, you see it, you smell it, you taste it. So as you walk around in the fall, you hear those leaves crunching. You can see it right now in those colors changing on the trees, in the flowers blooming, birds in the spring, all those sorts of seasonal things, events. That's what we mean when we talk about phenology. And we are tracking phenology because it really is that first place where the effects of climate change show up. The timing of these events that are so keyed to the specific conditions in the environment around them, that when that climate changes, you see it first in changing timing of these seasonal events. So we work with a whole bunch of different groups. We really work with Hoosiers of all ages. So we work with teachers to help them get their students involved in collecting this data on their school grounds so they get hands-on science experience. We work with individuals and families to help them document what's happening in their own yards or in their neighborhoods. And we work with park managers and conservation professionals to help them set up long-term monitoring programs. So there are all sorts of different ways that different people can get involved. We also love speaking to groups, talking about what we're seeing changing and why it matters. And we have opportunities for businesses and groups to get their people to come out and volunteer and be out in nature and help collect some data for science. So there are a couple of different ways businesses can get started. One of those ways is that we can help them set up a monitoring site, an observation site on their property if they happen to have some wildlife, some trees, some landscaping that we can monitor. We can have them meet us for a half-day session in a park, a nature area, and we can train them on, do a crash course on how to use the platforms that we use to monitor this. And then we go out scavenger hunt style, a little bit of friendly competition, and have them collect data scavenger hunt style out in the parks. And I think those are some of the primary ways that businesses can get involved with us. It is so important to pay attention to this. There are a couple of reasons. One, history. If we don't document what's happening now, 100 years from now, if we wanted to know, to see that change over time, we would not be able to without that data. So what we're really doing is we're documenting things right now. We're creating that long-term data set so that we can see how Hoosier landscapes are changing. Because what's happening on the other side of the world or in another part of the country doesn't really say what's happening here in Indiana. And if we really want to take care of our environment, if we really want to mitigate any impacts that there might be to our environment, we need to know what's happening here, and that's really what we're all about. Oh, there's so many different stories I could tell you about how I got involved, but the simplest is about 15 years ago I moved to Indiana for my schooling, and I'd been a lifelong gardener, loved plants, knew really those cycles well where I grew up. But everything was different here in Indiana. So I watched that first year, wondering whether things were early or late or on time, and I just couldn't find out that information. And then a random social media post, sometimes good things come from social media, taught me about a platform that helps track this data and that it's used for science. And I was like, oh, that is so amazing. I am going to start Indiana Phenology, and I'm going to get as many Hoosiers as I can to join me in collecting this data so that we can really get a good feel about what's happening here in Indiana. So I am a scientist at heart. I love the data, I love understanding what's happening, I love understanding why and when, and so that's what really keeps me going. But what makes our mission and the work we do so important and so useful to Indiana is that it's all about local data. And when we understand what's happening here, we can protect our environment. We can have a better connection, a deeper connection to our place and really where we are in the broader community, not just people, but plants, animals, all of us, because we're all in this together. So there are a couple ways people can help us. One, we always need more volunteers, and it's really easy to get involved. We have really awesome, simple to use platforms, and you just go to our website and you sign up for a virtual training and you're good to go. But another way that people can get involved is really to help us keep this going, make a monetary donation. It helps support our programming, it helps us get this program into more schools, and it helps us get students involved and all of those good things.
Indiana Phenology has collected nearly 350,000 data points since 2019, working across 40 Indiana counties. If you'd like to volunteer, perhaps create a great team building exercise for your staff, or to find out about the first ever Phenology journal and wall calendar, we have information on our website on how to make contact. When we come back this hour, we are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month on BE&O. And coming up later,
the Rosa Parks Award, you asked me earlier about imposter syndrome. I think that was my evening of imposter syndrome when I heard I'd gotten that award. Rosa Parks is an American hero, and I've followed her story, and it just felt amazing to be getting an award in her name. It was also a difficult time of my life. I had lost my dad less than a month back, and then I had to go up on stage and accept the award and talk about it. That night, I think I also felt like, when I was up on stage, there were a lot of people that were there to listen to my story, and that felt very humbling. So I had 4 things that I talked about. There are so many things to appreciate and admire about Rosa Parks, but before I talked about, if I remember them correctly now, 2 years later, are the courage that she had, that she did not give up her seat on that bus. And I told the audience, because I feel that way, that we have earned our seat.
Running your business day to day is made possible by Indy Chamber. Celebrating Hispanic Heritage is brought to you by McDonald's and Indiana Latino Expo.
welcome again to Business Equity and Opportunities. Hispanic Heritage Month is celebrated each year from September 15th through October 15th. Wish TV is taking the opportunity to present a variety of stories and features that recognize the contributions of Indiana's Hispanic and Latino communities. Today we look at the Indiana Latino Expo and the work it does to provide resources, information, and opportunity.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. Industry Focus.
Hi, I'm Carolina Castoreno, and I am the Director of Operations and Programming for the Indiana Latino Expo. So a lot of us are preferring to refer to it as Hispanic/Latino Heritage Month to make sure that we're inclusive of everyone within the diaspora. Hispanic and Latino are terms that sometimes people think are interchangeable. On a surface level, Hispanic means you come from a Spanish-speaking country, but that would include Spain. So Latino means you come from a Latin American country, which includes, does not include Spain, but would include Brazil and Haiti. On another level, there's the issue of race and ethnicity. So Hispanic is typically used for those who are European descendant within our community, whereas Latino can include any race, which includes indigenous Latinos like my family or Afro-Latinos as well. It's something that's like a phenomenon that is kind of exclusive to those who live outside of Latin America, so within the United States. Because in our countries of origin, we're not really calling ourselves Latino, we're calling ourselves by our individual ethnic groups. People like my family, we go by our tribal name, and then your nationality, of course. So within the United States, we see certain pockets that have maybe a higher population of one demographic, but then we have areas like Indiana where we do have a high Mexican American population, but we also have people from many parts of Latin America here. There's a very significant Peruvian community here, Colombian, Dominican, and so there seems to be, I don't want to use the word fusion, but there's a lot of collaboration between the cultures within our community.
Well, the way the ILE operates, it's a wonderful organization that empowers the Latino community in the Indianapolis area. And it provides a lot of services, and through the leadership of the great board led by Charlie Garcia as their chair, it's a wonderful organization. It's very focused on making sure that it creates the best Latino community that it can create. So in other words, that creating a great Latino community means it translates to creating a greater community at large. One of the great programs, the marquee programs the ILE has and they support is the Access program, which is taking a group of young professionals and giving them the leadership skills to actually succeed later on in life.
That's the aim of the Indiana Latino Expo, is to make sure that we have a supportive and inclusive environment for everyone within the Latino diaspora, and that we are uplifting our people. So what that looks like for our programs, one of the most popular would be the Access Leadership Program, where we are focusing on getting young Latino professionals ages 21 to 28 who are either finishing up their university education, or they're entrepreneurs, or they're kind of in that beginning phase of their professional career, to give them that development, the networking, and the tools necessary to be the next generation of leaders in our society. That's one that I'm most proud of. And then we utilize some of our other programming to focus on health, education, and workforce development for our community, especially because we have a very diverse status question within our community. So we have those who are undocumented, we have people who are under the DACA program, and then we have Latinos who are residents and citizens. So making sure that we have resources for every part of our demographic is really important. I think definitely the current political climate is definitely something that's bringing a lot of questions, a lot of fear, and just kind of uncertainty overall. So that's one of the reasons why we took the very important decision to transition our expo this year to a virtual format, because honestly, the security and safety of our community should be a priority. It should be for all Latino organizations and any organization that works with the Latino community. We need to take into consideration those protocols that need to be in place, but to not cancel everything out of fear, just kind of shift the logistics so that we can continue to deliver those resources and uplift our community, especially during a month we should be celebrating ourselves. That we exist outside of Hispanic/Latino Heritage Month, that Latinos are not only an integral part of our economy, which is very important, but that also we have all of these cultural contributions that make Indiana, and especially Indianapolis, great. So it's not just our restaurants or the businesses that we offer, but it's the opportunities to celebrate intersectionality and to celebrate collaboration with other communities, to show we may be unique, but we do have a lot in common, and that we can find some common ground to be able to celebrate each other. That I actually get to work with my people. I come from a community service background, so my family was one of the first Mexican American families in my town, and my grandmother was the one who welcomed all the immigrant families in, found them resources, helped them with mutual aid. So I learned at a very early age the importance of giving back. And so to be able to do that for a living, to find resources for my community and to uplift and remind everyone that we are diverse in our economic status, our ethnic and racial background, and that we are just as American as everyone else.
For more stories that celebrate this month, tune into our Celebrating Hispanic Heritage special. It's coming up October 7th, 6:30 in the evening on Wish TV. Up next this hour of Business Equity and Opportunities, a special conversation with an author who is the 2024 winner of the Rosa Parks Trailblazer Award. She shares her leadership insights and a very personal moment of courage.
It's time for media to truly reflect the voices of our community. Now in its third year, Wish TV's media producing program offers a one-year career certificate designed to launch your career in media. We train today's students to become tomorrow's media professionals, opening doors for those eager with fresh ideas and perspectives. Learn how newscasts are written, produced, broadcast, and more, all while gaining real-world experience alongside the experts at Wish TV. Ready to get started? Follow the QR code and take the first step toward your career in media. Celebrating Hispanic Heritage is brought to you by McDonald's and Indiana Latino Expo.
Welcome back. Anushree Bagh has earned praise and awards for leadership, won the 2024 Rosa Parks Trailblazer Awards at what were the Champions of Diversity banquet. She encouraged the audience at the event to take risks, respect diversity's value, claim your seat, and hold on to it.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Success Story.
Hi, I'm Anushree Bagh. I am an IT professional. Actually, I've been in various areas of IT, all the way from transformation, large transformation initiatives, to cybersecurity, to project management and program management, to organization and change management. I've been in Indiana from December of 1998. That's a great question. I think many leaders, sort of struggle with that. There is one school of thought that I think Sheryl Sandberg of previously at Facebook had said, if someone offers you a spot on a spaceship, don't ask which seat. Just get on it and then figure it out. I think it's something like this, not verbatim. So many times people will want that or wait for their whole lives for this big title or this big opportunity. And when they get that, like, let me get on that spaceship and then I'll understand. What follows oftentimes is it can work out very well. People can, live up to that or grow to that role. But sometimes that takes time. And then you hear these words, fake it till you make it, right? And as you're trying to get adjusted in that new role, that you're not fully prepared for it, and you have just sat on that spaceship thinking, I'm going to figure it out. Sometimes you have that feeling that I'm not up to the mark. Am I fitting in with everyone else? That's one way why people feel imposter syndrome, until they actually get to that full potential and the requirements of the role. The other is they may be doing extremely well, but they are just that feeling that almost like a complex of some kind, that am I good for this role? How did I get this role? I've seen that happen to women many times. In technology, there are still very few women in very high leadership roles. When someone gets that, and you are meeting after meeting where it's dominated by men, they have just been around you, and you just don't. You're the only woman. Gets more complicated if you're a woman of color or a woman who's an immigrant like me, and you constantly feel, do I fit in? Why did they choose me? There's so many other people. You're downplaying your own talent, your own potential, and trying to sort of fit the status quo and think this is what the image should be. And it doesn't help, Peggy, because if you Google a CIO, many times the image is of a male. And there are other professions like that. If you look for construction engineering, if you Google, you'll see. So there are areas that women are not as prominent, and imposter syndrome isn't just limited to women, but it manifests itself a lot more in women especially in fields where they can be minorities. The Rosa Parks Award, you asked me earlier about imposter syndrome. I think that was my evening of imposter syndrome when I heard I'd gotten that award. Rosa Parks is an American hero, and I've followed her story, and it just felt amazing to be getting an award in her name. It was also a difficult time of my life. I had lost my dad less than a month back, and then I had to go up on stage and accept the award and talk about it. That night, I think I also felt like, when I was up on stage, there were a lot of people that were there to listen to my story, and that felt very humbling. So I had 4 things that I talked about. There are so many things to appreciate and admire about Rosa Parks, but the 4 I talked about, if I remember them correctly now, 2 years later, are the courage that she had, that she did not give up her seat on that bus. And I told the audience, because I feel that way, that we have earned our seat. Claim your seat, hold on to it, no matter what others think. It is your seat, you've worked very hard, and so please hold on to that. I talked about resilience. Oftentimes we obsess over failure and rejection. Rejection is oftentimes just redirection. I actually have a story in my book about that. I feel so strongly about it. And so Miss Rosa Parks faced quite a bit of rejection, but she was resilient about that. I think I also talked about diversity. A lot of people misunderstand what diversity is. They just think it is about gender and race and color. It's so much more. I think there are many industries now which are accepting of diverse people from all kinds of backgrounds who can contribute so much more to any particular mode of problem solving. If we throw just engineers at one solution, they all have a mindset, my mindset, very, very mathematical, very focused, but you need that liberal arts background too. That's why in medicine, oftentimes you have music majors who are becoming doctors and phenomenal doctors. So there's a reason for diversity of action and thought that we should welcome. So I remember talking about that. I don't remember the 4th thing, frankly, at this point, but that was a very empowering moment. I think I love how it enabled, it empowered, and it elevated me and elevated my own confidence in my abilities, that I had earned my place and I did deserve that award. And I'm very thankful for the committee who had selected that award for me.
We will have more from our conversation with Anushree Bogg and her book, Micro Pivots, coming up in October. Follow the QR code to see where you can find the book now. A reminder, the window for nominations for next year's awards, now called the Champions of Impact Awards, is now open, but move quickly. The window closes October 1st. If you'd like to know more about any of the segments in today's show, follow the QR code. We'll put up one more time to our website. Thank you for spending the hour with us. Join us next week for a special edition of Business Equity and Opportunities, recorded on location at our BE&O Rally Studio inside this year's conference. Till then, I'm Scott Sander. Have a great day.
Business Equity and Opportunities is made possible by Bose McKinney & Evans, Eskenazi Health, Indy Biz Pass, Indy Chamber, and Lilly, a medicine company.